open.
It's open.
I don't
open
really, I've come happy. Let's see, today is Sunday, and it is whatever day it is for you, because I can never remember. It's Monday. Monday for you.
It's always in the future.
It's always in the future.
Yeah.
Am I like your past? And then
yes,
and it's kind of right. We're sort of like this great balance. We're Mikki, yin and yang, and we're also Mikki and Jess, past and future a bit, which is good.
That is.
But you and I literally just were talking because everything that we talk about is related to health in some way, but they're not always these perfectly curated tips to improve and increase your protein. And we're not going to talk about every data analytic about how you can measure your certain biomarkers or what particular strength moves are best for your arms or best for your legs. I actually think, and you and I have talked about this a lot, especially this time of year, that a lot of this time of year, it sort of is forever till the end of time. So whether you are like 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, 80, you are programmed to believe, because of society, that this is the most wonderful time of year. And it's a nice time of year. It's lovely. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but it's also a really challenging time of year for people. And I think, unfortunately, you just experienced loss of one of your dearest friends. And this is the anniversary of the loss of my dad, and which he passed on the 24th of Christmas Eve, unexpectedly. And it's just it is just to say our health suffers a bit during this time, our emotional health. And I think it's important to kind of know some things that you can do to ground yourself during times of real heartache, truly.
Yeah. And Jess, it feels like just
I'm really sorry for your
older
loss, though, Mikki.
we
It's very
get. Yeah, for sure. Thank you. It feels like it's the older you get, the more you're surrounded by loss, and it's an expected part of us being on this earth, and just being human. But it's not an easy thing to, obviously it's not easy to experience. It's not easy to talk about. I don't think people love talking about it, and we can feel awkward about it as well. How to talk to someone who has lost someone.
That's right. That's right.
You don't even know if you can find the words to sort of express it. So a lot of people hold that emotion inside of them. And as you so rightly said, it's absolutely related to our health, because it's, your emotional health affects your physical health and the relationships about people around you, and, all of those things.
They do. And I think that some things that I've done sometimes on social media can be kind of a wonderful thing, because you can post videos. And I posted one about my dad yesterday, and him dancing with my daughter, because that's just kind of what we did. And so I say this, dancing is cathartic, like things that are like untraditional ways to deal with your health, right? Things you're not necessarily going to think about. So for my dad, it was, we moved a lot, we danced. I mean, both of us are the worst dancers in the universe, but we would just kind of get up in the kitchen, and 100% of the time it was James Taylor. So that's been, as my family now calls it, James Taylor therapy. So there's a certain catharticness to hear that voice. It's almost like, your friend, I'm not sure the things that she enjoyed or what was the anchor to your relationship, but I think whatever kind of anchored you to them when they were living can anchor you to them in their death, right? So I think about that a lot. I think about, what can I do to anchor? So I dance. We play music. I post a lot about them. You know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of like, to know me is to know that I love kettlebells and strength and protein and James Taylor and my family and a lot of my dad. He's just a very big part of my story. Not only my origin story, helped me bring in the world, but he's literally like my story. So I do those things. And then I just talk about him incessantly,
Yeah.
like stories for days. So like, you know, you and I have, although I feel like I've been your friend forever, you know, there's a lot you know about him because ever since we started becoming friends, I've talked to you about him.
Yeah.
So I really think people should do more sharing
Mm-hmm.
of our own stories, our own personal stories, and the stories of them, because that's how we continue their legacy. So it doesn't have to end, right? Like their story doesn't end right now, and the healing is so cathartic when we do that. I'm not afraid to share. I mean, I share stories of my dad with anybody,
Yeah.
you know, who will
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
really, you know.
And what I find so interesting is the whole process of grief is just not linear either, you
No,
know,
it's
like,
and it's not, and it lasts forever, by the
and,
way.
and, and it's so unexpected as well, you know,
Hmm.
like it's in terms of how, like, I don't know what people expect. You know, if I think about people who have lost people very, very close to them and then they get like 2 weeks bereavement leave and then
Hmm.
you're back to normal, you know, like, or you're back to sort of normal life and you've got to learn to live without
That's
that
right.
person. And
That's right.
that's must be so difficult. Like I'm lucky in that to this point, I haven't lost a parent the way that you have.
Hmm.
Um,
Which is,
and
there's no hierarchy of loss. You know, losing a
no,
parent
I
is gut
know, but
wrenching.
yeah,
Losing a dear friend, like you just most recently did, is gut wrenching. So the hierarchy isn't there, nor is the length of time. And fuck it for the people and anybody else who tells you like that, you know, they don't want to hear it, or they roll their eyes, or like, oh, there she goes again. You know, I mean, of course there's like, I sometimes will get sheepish if I feel like, and now I'm not anymore. Now I'm just like, you know what? If this is, I literally, I have to, it's like cortisol to some degree. I think if
mm,
grief stays in your body too long, without having places to, you know, get it out, it's difficult, right? It's just going to kind of feel like it's going to, making you feel like you're going to implode or something, right?
it's in your
So
nervous system,
it's in your
actually.
nervous system.
Yes.
So I feel like if people can look at this and think about it from this conversation, I would say, you know, do the things that anchored you to the relationship with them, right? Keep doing those things and make them profound mini habits in your
Mm.
life. And then this is completely left field, but it is because we can. I like literally started doing these like, I'm not a big cold plunge person. Okay. I
Yeah.
try. I like the heat better. I just do. But you know what I've been doing is first thing in the morning, I've been cold plunging my face. It's
Oh,
really a good
great.
reset for my nervous. I'm like, so I get
Yes.
a big bowl and I stuff it with ice water,
Wow.
stick my face in there, 10 or 15 seconds, come up for air 3 times. And it, things that felt a little bit like out of whack feel
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more in
More centered,
in
more
whack, if
grounded.
you will. Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, do you know, Jess, the other side of that, though, right, is that there'll be people who have lost people
Okay.
and they don't have that relationship. And in fact,
No.
what they might feel is, if they think about it, they might feel guilt for not feeling the grief that they feel they should feel,
Hmm.
that is expected of them. And isn't
That's
that
right.
interesting as well? Like
Such a
I
good point, Mikki.
Yeah, like, and this is the thing with like, you cannot predict how you're going to feel, when you're going to feel it,
You don't.
and then how, and there's no right or wrong. I think that's the other thing as well. Like, you can have like a really great relationship with someone and they pass, or say a parent, or a sibling, and they pass, and it's not that anything was wrong with the relationship, but there is this element of, people expect you to feel a certain way and you might not. Isn't that, yeah,
Yeah.
that,
I think I think you're totally right. I think that, I think I love the real life nature of podcasting, because it's like I feel knee deep in the grief of the profound loss of your friend and loss of my dad. And my children are currently up on the counter with a bowl of Nutella and half a bag of marshmallows, which is probably another way to console yourself during, during times of grief.
yes. But do you know what, like, you were talking about, like, you just said, what are some non-traditional ways, and this isn't
I
a
did.
non.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not saying go get knee deep in Nutella and marshmallows, but maybe you could have one or something.
I mean, I question the Nutella, to be honest, but I do love a
I
marshmallow. I
know.
do love a
It's
marshmallow,
like, I know,
if I'm
I know.
honest. Um, uh, Journaling. journaling and
Wonderful way.
grounding, like,
Wonderful way.
and in fact, there is good research around grounding and
There
like
is.
getting out in nature. And I'm sure that we've talked about this
We
before.
have, yeah.
Yeah. And I think, again, it's because of the effects on your nervous system. So, regardless of the emotions you're feeling, it's impactful to be able to, connect with nature and sort of just help center a little bit. And I think that's something which is often missed in this industrial world that we live in.
I think we have to. I think if people can pause on this for a moment, and I think if they can take this sort of like mini discussion about something quite big, which I feel like I have a lot of follow-ups for this, but if tonight or tomorrow they hear this and they come away with, number one, there's no life cycle to it. Number two, there's, please pick the people that allow you to share and speak about your parent as though you could talk about it forever, or your
Yeah.
friend, right? Let find those people, because they're not, and that's not everybody. I've certainly experienced that. Journal. I think there's tons of evidence to that, to just
Oh,
have
yeah.
like the thoughts written so you can return back to them like lyrics in a song. Do the things that anchored you to that relationship,
I love that
whatever they
one.
are,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And maybe try things like ice cold, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
facial plunges and things like, and then nature, right? And then out, because I really think that the grief, releasing the cortisol of grief per se, I think is really different.
Yeah.
So I think if people look at like, like a tumor or something of grief, it needs a lot of ways to release itself.
Yeah.
So I think like these are 5 or 6 that I think I would love for people to practice. And I would add one more. I would add
Yeah.
one more. And this one I think is huge. Um, 2 things, maybe to
Yeah.
reach out to people, like call them, like fucking call. I mean, I guess, or text if really calling is debilitating for you. And you most likely, newsflash, aren't going to get them anyway. I always laugh. I call everybody. No one ever answers. I get their voicemail, but at least they listen to their voicemail. But I would encourage people to do this as a practice for 1 week. The things we just said, call 2 people every day.
Oh, wow.
I
Two
know.
people.
For one
That's,
week, call 2 people every day. Just leave 2 messages for 1 week. I'm not saying a lifetime. Just see how your body feels.
yeah. 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 Although
It's remarkable.
if I knew that I was getting calls from 2 people in a day, like my body would feel more anxious and a little bit like,
So you don't, not saying you have to, not saying that people have to answer. And you know what I
no.
often do, God forbid if they do, this is what I do. I'll practice for you guys, since this is like an old school, new school thing.
Yeah, I
Ring,
like
ring,
it.
ring. You answer. Hi, Mikki, it's Jess. You say, hi, Jess. I don't have a lot of time. I just wanted you to know that tonight be something. I was just thinking about you, and I wanted to tell you that. I just wanted to get on the
Ah,
phone and just let you know that when I talk to you, which is really easy to do because it's actually, this is like real life here.
yeah.
When I'm with you, I feel better. I feel happy. So I just wanted you to know I was driving along today. I had this thought of you. I'm running into the store right now. Just wanted to let you know. I'm looking at our clock right there. This took 7 seconds.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Do you know what? That is such a different experience from what you expect to happen when someone calls you, you know?
I
Like
know.
when someone calls you, like, how are they even calling me? No, do these people not even work? Like, what are they doing? What do they
This
expect
is
from me?
exactly it, right?
Yeah.
And
So
all these things. And
interesting.
what do they want from me? What do they need from me, right? So
Yeah.
then that's why you're feeling
Yeah.
anxious.
Yeah.
But I think if we remove that
Yeah.
and we shed ourselves of this, then we
Yeah.
have this kind of, beautiful, more cathartic experience that is actually healing, which helps release a lot of that,
Yeah.
the tumor of grief,
Yeah.
right?
100%. That is so
Yeah.
funny because do you know my phone is 24/7 on do not disturb. I just like, and this was from a girl that used to buy ringtones, and now I'm always on
I
silent.
actually just love that about you. See, every single time I talk to you, I get a new Mickey-ism. What was your favorite ringtone before? I just need to know that.
Well, I think I've got Guns N' Roses on at the moment.
Okay, you're
Yeah.
wonderful. See, if nothing else, then maybe I can have like my own special ringtone. We can go back to that
Oh, I might do that actually. I mean, I'll
because you
never
know I'm going to
hear
call
it.
you.
Well, I'll never hear it. I'll never hear it because I never have it on anything other than song. It's a real pain when I lose my phone. I'm like, where is my phone? And I can't. But if you call often enough, Jess, you could probably bypass my do not disturb because I've got
I know
two.
I'm thinking I'm going to start figuring out how to do that. I'm also going to like remind people to just for like 1 week I'm doing this experiment. Can you please take your phone off do not disturb list? You may be one of the ones
Yeah.
I'm calling.
Yeah. Just in case. Just in case. What I will, like, do you know what? Like
Yeah.
you were so great, Jess, actually, because these are such great tips, and I think probably they're great tips from some. I mean, how long has it been since your dad has passed?
I mean, I could tell you it's been 4 years, 11 months, 2 weeks, 22
Mm,
seconds. No, I mean, it's
yeah,
the reality is we're a couple weeks shy of his fifth
yeah,
anniversary. So
yeah.
4 years and 11 and a half months.
So you've had a lot of
That's how I feel.
time
I know
to,
the days, I know the moments, I know,
yeah,
I mean, I'm a grief expert.
yeah,
But I also just, you know, he taught me how to love. I mean, we talked about this, like what my anchor is that with all of his foibles, because he had so many, because he was totally flawed, like we all are,
yeah,
but he just loved me so big. I mean,
mm,
so I'm just not afraid to love people. I'm not
yeah.
afraid to tell people how I feel. I am afraid to do back end things for my business, marketing shit, whatever.
However,
But I'm doing it.
I know. So proud,
So I
so
am
proud.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm doing the thing and as comfortable as it is, but loving people and telling them how I feel about them and just putting myself bravely in spaces.
mm,
Um, because when I do that, Mikki, I also not only run the risk of being rejected, I do,
mm-hmm.
something I'm not feeling your love, right? That's okay.
Yeah, yeah,
But then I also recognize for the ones that don't reject me, it's huge.
yeah,
I mean, I'll just keep going back to Mickey Love, but like, I mean, look what, like, we met.
yeah,
I thought I loved you. I thought you were so great. We've been connected, and here we are doing
yeah,
amazing things with our podcast. So, you just kind of put yourself there, and he
yeah,
gave me that permission. So I really feel like it's my honor, like you with your friends, like we are going to do what we can to continue
yeah,
their space in the world, so
yeah.
everybody knows them long after they're not here.
Do you know, Jess, I feel
Yeah.
like you're really evolved in how you talk about your feelings
Mm.
and just in feelings in general, actually. Like I feel that the way that you talk about it is actually it's just it's just more open and more vulnerable, and you've really like there's just something about the way you do it which I love listening and hearing. It helps me, and I know that these kind of conversations help other people as well.
Well,
Yeah.
that is what I'm so glad. I feel the exact same way. I feel like being with you feels like so safe and so wonderful. And I think we have so much to share. And ultimately our mission is to just allow people the space to be able to feel what they need to feel and to understand that feeling or to explore it deeper. So I'm
100%.
glad that we had an opportunity to kind of touch on this today. And I'll, I will head out when we're done here and clean up the marshmallows that are everywhere.
And if
I'm
you
surprised
need
you don't like Nutella though. The next podcast, I would like to know what you're like. It's beer. I know it's always beer, but there must be something else that you go to when the going gets rough.
Oh yeah. Oh no, there are
Okay,
plenty. Like I
okay,
am
okay,
certainly I have my things, but we can
okay.
I think
Good.
that would be a great actually a nice
That's a
light
really good
conversation
one.
actually.
Grief part two.
Yeah. Or life or living, you
Or
know.
living part
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, love it.
Well, and then of course the final thing is I always root myself in a place of gratitude. So I will ask you on
Mm.
this Monday and my Sunday, what are you grateful for today, Mikki?
I'm just grateful to have people like you in my life and
Mm.
the friends around me and the life that I live. Like at 47, I feel like I have, I do feel like I've had such a great life that, um, but there's still so much life to live,
That's right.
and
That's
that's
right.
exciting despite all
It
the
is.
other things that go on in it.
I love that.
How
I
about
love that.
you,
Cheers.
Jess?
I would say without sounding cheesy, it's that, it's
Yeah.
having met somebody like you and I'm just so supremely grateful for meeting you and for having this podcast because I think it is an incredible platform for us and for the people that share this space with us. So I am so, so grateful. And I'm grateful for the music of James Taylor.
Oh, absolutely. I'm with
I'll
you.
go play that while I clean up Nutella and marshmallows.
That sounds great. Thanks, Jess. See you.
Bye.
Nice one. You were
I don't even have
so.
to get off. I'm so
No,
tempted to keep pushing
I
the button.
know. I
I'm like, just touch
know.
the button. Nope, don't touch the button.